Good evening, folks, and welcome to JJ Isaacson Field at Seymour Smith Park. I'm Brendan Preisman alongside Jack McGonigal, and we've got a doubleheader on tap for you today on this beautiful Monday evening. Welcome in, everyone. It's good to have you. And now, real quick, we're going to look at some scores for the past couple of games in the Corn Belt League. It was a pretty busy week for everybody, Jack, but there were a lot of good games.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to the ones we have tonight. But Filthballers, I mean, man, they've been taking care of business 8 in a row, 7-2 over the Haymakers, and then 6-5 in the tight one over the Blue Dogs. Crop Dusters really brought the bats out, 15-8 on the Red Raiders, and the Bombers take care of the Royal Blue Dogs, 9-5 in Council Bluffs.
Yeah, and the Filthballers winning that doubleheader was really impressive because there were some people that were wondering. They'd had a fairly lax schedule, but going up against the Haymakers and Royal Blue Dogs back-to-back, could they take care of business? They did authoritatively, and that's why they're the top team in the league right now, sitting at 11-1.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can bounce back after that doubleheader and defeat the Rail Riders, a team they've already beaten 12-7. And then we saw the Black Sox in two pitching duels, 3-2 Black Sox over the Crop Dusters, and then the Haymakers defeat these guys, the Rail Riders, 2-1. That's something we've seen a lot from here at Seymour Smith. A lot of pitchers duel, but a lot of offensive outbursts as well. It's kind of been a mix and match of good defensive baseball and good offensive baseball.
And now as we look to the standings, the Filthballers on top by a wide margin at 11-3, the only team without multiple losses. Black Sox at 7-3, Bombers and Haymakers tied at 6-5. After that, a little bit rougher going. Crop Dusters at 5th at 5-7, Rail Riders 6th at 3-5, then the Royal Blue Dogs in 7th at 3-8, and the Red Raiders, who we'll see a bit later, at 1-8, bringing up the rear of the pack. But you mentioned for the Rail Riders, a lot of good pitchers duels. They've gone up against a lot of really good pitchers. They've been held under 3 runs 4 times, and only Derek Enertson, their right fielder, is in the top 5 in any offensive category for them. So here's the schedule we've got for you tonight. These are the 2 games Jack and I will be broadcasting. We've got the Rail Riders and Filthballers coming up for you at 5. And then at 8, we've got the Red Raiders taking on the Bombers. And now let's go to our impact players. Our impact player for the Filthballers today is the defending Corn Belt League hitter of the week, Brendan Anderson. And he has been the spark plug for the league's best offense these past couple of weeks.
Yeah, Anderson's been really good. He's batting over 400 at 440, and he's got all 11 hits. He's got 11 hits, 5 of them doubles. Leads the league, 9 runs. 7 extra base hits. He's got 20 driven in. It's been really impressive so far from Anderson this summer.
Yeah, certainly has, and with a 500 on-base percentage, too. He's getting on base basically 1 out of every 2 times he comes to the plate. So he is a dangerous guy to watch on offense. As for the Rail Riders, their guy to watch is P.J. Laux. He's also been one of the league's best hitters and comes in tonight, as you can see there, with a 600 slugging percentage. He's been up for Hitter of the Week a couple of times, and well-deserved, really.
Yeah, and the Rail Riders, I mean, coming in at 3-5, but they're tough. Look, they have a really under 3 ERA, and they can pitch the ball, and they have good command, and that's what I'm looking forward to tonight against a team like the Filthballers, who leads the league in a lot of offensive categories team-wise. A team that's the only team that's hitting over 300, so the command will have to be there, and the Rail Riders will have to defend or rely on their defense to make plays against this talented Filthballers hitting team.
Yeah, you mentioned how talented the Filthballers are on offense, Jack, and I want to talk about one of our keys to the game real quick, and that is the pitching for the Rail Riders today. It's going to have to be on point. Garrett Vosika is on the mound from Mount Marty University. He's pitched 8 innings so far this year, given up 8 hits, 6 runs, but only 1 earned, and also has an ERA of .88. He's definitely going to have to be on his A game today.
Yeah, Vosika, I mean, he's looked really good so far. He's been 8 innings pitched, and he's been there, and he's been able to do what he wants to so far here this season, and looking forward to it.
We'll be right back after the national anthem. Welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field, folks. Just seconds away from first pitch. It is Corey Palmer, the Southeast Community College student, on the mound right now for the Filthballers. He is facing PJ Laux to open. And first pitch in there for a strike by Palmer. And Jack, he's got a lot of really good pitches that he can go to if he needs to. He's got one of the best arsenals in the league.
Yeah, he's got a 3-pitch arsenal: fastball, curveball, and a change fastball, top out 83 miles an hour.
That one, though, given a ride into left field, but playable and caught easily by Trevor Winterstein for the first out. So Lukes flies out to left on his opening at-bat, and now we will get the man due up second for the Rail Riders, their center fielder. This is Braden Artzer. He's attending Briarcliff University. Got a 400 on-base percentage, but gets most of those from walks. He's drawn 6 walks already on the year, and going up against a strike-throwing pitcher like Palmer, that's going to be really tough for him to do because Palmer loves drawing weak contact. He doesn't throw many outside the zone. That one inside the zone for Palmer. And he got Artzer swinging there. Jack, what is it that you think makes Corey Palmer one of the better pitchers in the league right now? Because it's not like he's overpowering guys. He's only struck out 12 in 15 innings, but he's gotten so many guys out, and he's allowed less than a base runner per inning. That one to center field and caught again. So 2 straight flyouts on an 0-1 count to start the game for Corey Palmer. That one was Artzer.
I'll answer your question now. I didn't want to talk over you there on the fly ball, but there's a lot of things that factor into good pitching. One of them's command. I think he's got really good command. He hasn't, I don't think he's thrown a ball yet in this game. And then trusting that defense, the ability for them to make plays and help the pitcher out, plays a key role as well. So those 2 things factor in. That's what I'm seeing so far here early in this game.
And yeah, and you're right. No balls yet. 4 pitches, all 4 strikes. And he'll make it 5 in a row there. That a nice hopper to third. But Derek Enertson will be out. A great play there by Landon Gieser. And a 5-pitch inning for Corey Palmer goes very well. 3 up and 3 down for the Rail Riders. We'll go to the Filthballers offense in the bottom of the first. Welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field at Seymour Smith Park. A very quick top of the first for the Rail Riders. PJ Lukes, Brandon Artzer, and Derek Enertson all were out within the first 2 pitches of their at-bats. So now we get the first look at Garrett Vosica of the Rail Riders, and he, much like Corey Palmer, has been one of the better pitchers in the league so far. And Jack, go into a little of what makes this guy good as well.
Yeah, he's got kind of the same arsenal as Palmer, but I mean, he's got good command and comes in at 8 innings pitched and 12 strikeouts and hasn't hit anybody, just 1 walk allowed. So again, really good command and lefty-lefty matchup to begin the day here.
Yeah, he does like to go inside on a lot of lefties. We'll see what he does as Trevor Winterstein, the left fielder for the Filthballers, is up. Watches that one go by, and that was our first ball of the entire game. No balls in the first inning for Corey Palmer. What a great inning he had. Not quite an immaculate inning, but almost better than that because he only needed 5 pitches to get through the top 3. 1-0 count will be 1-1. That was Vasica painting the corners there.
Trevor Winterstein, real patient hitter, about 5 walks. Hit by pitch, patient hitter at the plate, and that's a guy you need at the leadoff spot and kind of rattle this starter.
Vasica gets another one in there for a strike, so really painting the outside, trying to go away from Winterstein, and much like we saw with Corey Palmer, trying to force that weak contact. That's been how a lot of pitchers have been doing really well this year, is the weak contact. 1-2 is in there and high, and Winterstein been a very patient batter so far this year. He's got 5 walks compared to 7 hits. Definitely a very difficult leadoff hitter to deal with for a pitcher. That one cranked down the first base line, and it's going to be an easy play, just a ground out to first. Best hitters in the league this year. He's got 9 hits, 3 for extra bases, 12 RBIs, and 11 runs this year. And Jack, that's got to be pretty frightening for a pitcher to face this early in the ball game.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a dangerous hitter, dangerous couple hitters for these Filthballers. That's why they've been so successful so far, 12 games in.
Vasica, though, able to make a good pitch there and get a strike in. He's been going away from the batters a lot. Do you think that trend will continue?
I think so. I think the way things are going right now, because it's tougher to get that strong contact, he's not getting rocked by the offensive or the opposite field.
That one definitely not getting rocked. Another strike is in for Vasica. So now a 1-2 count, and he's been up early on both Winterstein and Gieser, and that has really been the difference for a lot of pitchers. The guys who are leading in first pitch strike percentage in this league more often than not are going to end up as some of the better pitchers. That one, though, inside, so we've got count even at 2-2. And Jack, if you're Garrett Vasica, what type of pitch are you looking to throw here?
I think getting the fastball, I think keep it on the outside edge, make him chase one.
And he does chase, and he chases it foul. That one going over the bleachers and away. So Gieser extends the at-bat. He has struck out only... Actually, I don't believe he has struck out this year, and that trend will not start here, at least on that pitch. 2-2. That one fouled off again, and Gieser doing a good job extending the at-bat. We talked a little bit about pitch counts in the pregame, and we mentioned that some teams like to keep their pitchers fresh, and some teams just like to ride it out. In that Crop Dusters game we talked about in the pregame, the starter for the Crop Dusters threw over 120 pitches. This pitch popped up to short, and the play is made. That was Baker for the Rail Riders, so Gieser's at-bat finally ends with an out. And now we will see Jackson Horn, the shortstop for the Filthballers. He's got 10 hits on the year and 9 runs. But with pitch counts, Jack, how long do you think that Vasica is going to be able to stay in here, especially if the at-bats stay that long?
I think, you got to lower these kind of at-bats, number of pitches he's throwing, and just fire away in the zone. I think he's trying to paint a little too much right now on the outside and just know where the zone is and find that zone, and the rest will happen.
That one in the zone. A pop-up to second this time, and we have had 2 very quick half innings. Both teams go 3 up, 3 down. No hits yet for either side as Jackson Horn pops out to the second. Welcome back as we head to the top of the second. Nothing right now between the Rail Riders and the Filthballers. Brendan Preisman alongside Jack McGonigal. And now it was 3 up, 3 down for both teams in the first, both hoping for a little more offense in the top of the second. This is Cedric Dunwald, the catcher for the Rail Riders, and he cuts up high for strike one. Corey Palmer still has not thrown a pitch outside the strike zone yet today, Jack. He has had command going from the get-go.
That's going to help you live long in a game like this.
Oh, and just as we say that, the
Announcer
first one.
jinx.
Yeah, outside the zone. I've had my fair share of those.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, but now the count 1-1. But like you said, Palmer could last a long while. That first inning, just 5 pitches for him. Already at 3 on this at-bat alone, but he gets ahead of Dunwald with the 1-2 count. Dunwald struck out 5 times in 13 at-bats on the year, hoping not to make it 6 for 14, but he's going up against one of the better pitchers in the league, so that might be tricky. Palmer's throw curves out of the zone, 2-2. Was trying to get Dunwald to chase, but Dunwald wisely held off there. So now it's 2-2, and this is the longest count we've seen Corey Palmer have to deal with today by a long while. That one laced up the middle, and that's going to be a single for Cedric Dunwald. So we've got the first base runner of the game and the first real mistake from Corey Palmer, just letting look like it was a curveball hang over the zone for a little bit too long, and Dunwald was able to lace it right up the middle.
Yeah, it was a really nice piece of contact. First hit allowed.
Yeah. And we talked about weak contact, but that contact certainly was not weak, Jack. A lot of power behind that ball.
Yeah, that was a nice rip up the middle, and that's what you need to get something going, especially no outs.
Mm-hmm. And in what looks to be a pitcher's duel like this, any sort of base runners can change things up quickly. A.J. Urban now up, the first baseman for the Rail Riders. He's got 4 hits and 15 at-bats on the year. Down 0-1. Palmer waits and fires, and that one laced into left. Going to go just foul. So that was the best piece of contact we've seen all day from anyone on either side, really. But it sinks foul. Palmer probably lucky to get away with one there, Jack.
And the wind's not taking it much. If you look out there in center field, flags are pretty dead, but the little wind that is blowing straight out to center, I believe. So wind shouldn't be much of a factor here in this game.
Palmer definitely lucky that one went foul. Now ahead 0-2. And that one fouled right back into the catcher. Everybody looks fine, though. So now Urban down 0-2. And he's hitting .267 on the year, got a .450 on-base percentage. And you wonder if Palmer's pitching has become a little different with a man on base. You wonder if that maybe rattled him a bit.
Yeah, different kind of pressure put on by Palmer now that there's a runner on first.
The runner goes, and that one is hit into left. And that will drop easily. Dunwald going to second. Came off the base a little too much, but he will stay safe. So 2 straight singles now for the Rail Riders. And after a first inning with nothing from either side, we've seen some quick offense from them. And now a runner in scoring position for Garrett Globe.
Hitting can be contagious sometimes. Baseball is all about momentum, and that's where the Rail Riders are getting this spark from.
Palmer trying to make up for that. Those 2 hits. Heading into today through 15 innings, he had allowed just 8 hits, so that's already at 10, and he's only pitched a full inning. Catcher coming out to talk to him real quick. This is, as I said, Garrett Globe. Has 3 hits on the year in 9 at-bats. 0-1 count to him. Runners on first and second. Those are Dunwald and Urban. And that one, another strike. A nice curveball there from Corey Palmer, and that's one of those pitches in his arsenal that can be so dangerous to hitters.
Yeah, kind of froze there. Globe did, and a strikeout would be huge right here for Palmer and try and ease the pressure off his shoulders.
He delivers, and that one grounded down the third base line, but goes foul before it could hit the base. So once again, we're seeing an at-bat in the second inning extended with foul balls, which is not what you want to see for Corey Palmer because his pitch count has shot up after just 5 in the first inning. He's already at 12 in the second inning. 0-2 count, no one out, 2 on base. And that one high and inside. Lucky it didn't hit Globe there. And it certainly looks like Corey Palmer has become a bit rattled now with those base runners to worry about. 1-2. That one in there. And a backwards K for Corey Palmer. Could be a big-time momentum swing, as you said, Jack, but he needed to get out of that at-bat, and he did so very well.
Yeah, runners on first and second, nobody out compared to runners on first and second, 1 out. It's a lot of a different situation, you know, ground ball, middle infield, and you're out of this thing.
Cole Ryan now up, has 4 hits and an RBI on the year, the second baseman for the Rail Riders. But, yeah, like you said, we will see how that backwards K affects Palmer's mentality. He might be able to be a little more aggressive here. That pitch popped into left center, playable, and it's going to be caught. That is Nolan Christensen, the center fielder for the Filthballers, seeing his first action of the day, and that's a quick 1 pitch out, and now the script has just completely flipped. You've gone from first and second, nobody out, to first and second, 2 out. How do you respond to this if you're the Rail Riders?
Get a base hit, find that big green grass in the outfield, and poke something out there and get that first runner home. But, yeah, the momentum has swayed towards the Filthballers side here in the top of the second.
Ball 1 to Jackson Van Pelt, and like you said, getting a hit would be ideal, but Van Pelt maybe not the guy you want to do that. Does not have a hit yet on the year. Been very adept at getting on base, though. Been hit by a pitch twice and walked 2 more times, so a 400 on base percentage, but none of that coming from hits. 1-0 to him. We'll see how he can work this count. That one, a very nice curveball. Sank very well for Palmer. And that curveball, when it's been going, has been his most unhittable pitch right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these hitters are just kind of freezing. They, you know, act like it's outside the zone, but then it drops in at the last second. That's been really been working for Palmer.
1-1 count. And he turns back to look at second. That is Dunwald, the catcher, who runs back to make sure he's okay. So the base runner's still in the back of Palmer's mind, but like we've been saying, with 2 outs, it's a lot easier for him to just concentrate on the hitter.
I think that's what you should do as a pitcher. Just focus on that hitter. Don't let your mind go elsewhere.
Strike 2 in there to Van Pelt. That one just high heat from Palmer. And he is just a strike away from getting out of the inning that appeared to be getting away from him. After giving up 2 straight singles, he struck out 1, induced a fly out to center, and we will see what he can do with Van Pelt. Van Pelt, meanwhile, trying to keep the Rail Riders alive and get something on the board here. And that will do nicely. Back at right field to the wall. That might score 2. Van Pelt coming around to second. The throw to the catcher is mishandled. Van Pelt's going to go to third and get there safely. Well, maybe he should have been thinking about the base runners a little bit more, because thinking about the batter didn't work. That's a triple for Jackson Van Pelt. What a way to get your first hit of the year.
Yeah, Van Pelt just made really good contact and got his eye on that ball and saw the baseball all the way through and into the right field corner down towards the foul pole, and 2-hopper off the fence clears the bases, and now the Rail Riders will play from in front.
It's a 2-0 lead for the Rail Riders, and we will see what Alex Hall can do, hitting .091 on the year as he gets a ball from Palmer. And another announcer jinx for Palmer. First we said he couldn't throw outside the zone, then we said he had taken back control of the inning, but right now he's just trying to get out of it. Nice fastball outside there, got Hall to cut on it, so it's 1-1. And so now if you're the Filthballers offense, who really had no resistance against Garrett Vausica in the first, what do you do here as this one popped into center? Tag up will not matter, and for the 3rd time, it is Nolan Christensen making a catch, and that will end the second inning. So a single, and a triple for the Rail Riders that inning. They do leave Van Pelt on base, but they have a 2-0 lead. We'll be right back for the bottom of the second. Welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field. We're here for the bottom of the second, and up to the plate is the defending Corn Belt hitter of the week, Brendan Anderson. We talked about him a lot in the pregame. He's hitting .440 right now with a 500 OBP, gets on base half his at-bats. He's looking to make this one of those times as his team's down 2-0.
Hey, can't
Takes
slide,
the first pitch for a ball.
can't slide anything in too nicely. For Vosica, gotta pitch as best you can up 2 now here early in this game.
Certainly don't want to leave something hanging over the zone. Anderson has 7 extra base hits on the year, and Vosica right now is kind of avoiding the zone. First 2 pitches in for balls, and Jack, you think it might be better just to walk Anderson and get him out of the way?
I don't think so now, because, I mean, bottom of the second inning, we're not in a high-pressuring situation. You're up 2. I think just attack the zone, know what you know how to do, and, yeah, just paint those corners and don't leave anything hanging over the middle of the plate. Yeah,
Vosica got a nice cut there from Anderson. It's 2-1 now. Here's the delivery, fouled back into the fencing. So now 2-2. Anderson very nearly got a nice hold of that one, but unable to put it in play. And if Vosica could get him out, that's a huge momentum swing. Not only do you get 2 runs on Corey Palmer, one of the better pitchers in the league, and as I speak, that is laced into the gap from Brendan Anderson. This is going to be extra base hit number 8. And he is going to third, his second triple of the year. What a hit from Brendan Anderson. And we've already got 2 hitters making it to third already in the bottom of the second. First inning was for the pitchers, but in this second inning, the bats have been flying fast and furious, Jack.
Yeah, Anderson delivers right there with 2 strikes and rips it to the left center gap out there, and he's got the wheels to get to third. Kudos to him, and now the Filthballers is sitting in the driver's seat to get one back.
Hunter Babe, the designated hitter, sitting in right now, takes the first pitch for a ball from Vosica. Babe is another really good hitter, hitting .368 on the year, gets on base nearly half the time. And he's going to let 2 balls go by high, and Vosica now gone down 2-0 in both of these first at-bats of this inning. He's going to have to be really careful to not keep doing that, because that gives the hitter a lot of opportunity. And that'll make it 3-0. Hunter Babe has 3 walks on the year. He's been hit by a pitch twice, so he's not unfamiliar with getting on base, but I'm sure that he'd prefer to put a ball in play and make sure that Brendan Anderson can come home. That ball, though, in the dirt, so Hunter Babe will take his base. A 4-pitch walk from Garrett Vosica, and that's something that you don't normally see. Vosica, normally such a controlled pitcher, that's only his 2nd walk of the year. But now it is runners on the corners, nobody out for Trace Mashachek. And he's got 3 RBIs on the year. He could easily add more to that total soon.
Yeah, find some in that outfield and make it a 2-1 game, and he's capable of doing that being in the 5 spot.
Absolutely.
Or 6 spot.
Absolutely. 6 hits on the year, 1 for extra bases, and as I said, 3 RBIs. Hitting .545 on the year, actually, better than almost anybody else on the team. Gets on base 76% of the time, which is just incredible. Down 1-0 here right now, though. We'll see how he can respond. And the runner goes. That's a strike. Catcher not even going to try. That is Hunter Babe sliding into second with no trouble whatsoever. And that, a very helpful stolen base, because now if Masachek hits a grounder down the middle, it's not a double play ball anymore.
Yeah, really heads-up steal there by Hunter Babe, because you know catcher's not going to throw down with the runner on third.
Infield fly. Third baseman calls it. And that was Alex Hall coming in to take it. Vosica looked like he ducked out of the way a little bit, but they get a much-needed out as Mashachek pops up to third. And now Derek Sr., the catcher for the Filthballers, is up to the plate. Only 4 at-bats on the year, but he's had hits in 2 of them, so 500 batting average. I'd say that's pretty good. That one he lets go by for ball 1. And so now if you're Garrett Vosica, how do you pitch to this? Because you can't get a double play ball and get out of the inning, but you also want to make sure nothing gets in the outfield because that could tie up this game quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a base hit still ties this game up, so have to carefully locate your pitches. If your Vosi can be interesting. Yeah, he's still going towards that outside part of the plate, something we've seen all game so far.
That one laced into the outfield, and that will score at least one, maybe more. Nope, he is going to hold at third, so Babe stands his ground. Anderson scores, and Senior has his first RBI of the season on a single into right. So that is now 2 straight half innings where we've seen the first 2 guys get on base. Senior, though, is not going to run the bases. That will be Tyler Levy, who's got 12 runs on the year to lead the Filthballers. Levy is on as a courtesy runner. And now we see what Nolan Christensen, who's had a lot of action defensively already, can do with his bat. And grounds it to second. That's going to be a close play. He is safe. An infield single by Nolan Christensen, and that will score another run. That is Babe coming back around to score, and the game is now tied. So that's a potential double play ball, but I don't know if Ryan was just slow to it or it died in the grass, but that's another single, and now we've got first and second, still just one man out.
Yeah, kind of in that no man's land. Last 2 hits have been
a double steal, and both base runners are going to get there. That's now 3 stolen bases in this inning from the Filthballers. One of the best offenses in the league, and one of the reasons for that is because they're so aggressive, and you saw it there, Jack, just unafraid on the base pass.
Yeah, Dunwall's had trouble getting that ball in his hands out of his glove and allowed Christensen and company to steal.
And that also prevents another double play ball. So now the count is 1-1 for Vosica, and he has just kind of struggled this inning. Had a 4-pitch walk to Babe, gave up the triple to Anderson. That one, though, one of his best pitches of the day, in for a strike. Now 1-2, and striking out Nick Ripa. As you said, 2 base runners on and 1 out. A lot different than 2 base runners on, 2 outs. It's a lot easier to deal with as a pitcher. And that's going to be a strikeout. A nice low pitch in there from Vosica. Ripa strikes out. That is Nick Ripa's 9th strikeout on the year. And now we will see Tyler Obrecht, the extra hitter. Yes, there are 10 hitters in an order in the Corn Belt League. So Obrecht now up with 2 outs, men on second and third. And Vosica just trying to get out of the inning. And he throws a nice pitch there for strike 1. And I like what we've seen from both pitchers bouncing back, because they both gave up some early hits, but they both responded pretty nicely and limited the damage pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a big hit. Olbrecht in the 10 spot, and he get his team his lead. Will be a huge confidence boost for him, and we'll see what he can do. He's got 12 plate appearances and looking for his first hit.
Down 0-2, though. That's going to be tricky for him. That pitch, though, way out of the zone for Vosica, and it's a 1-2 count. But if Vosica's able to get out of this with only 2 runs, I'd have to say that's pretty good damage control from him, because it could have been very bad when you have a man on third, no outs. Only giving up, and then you walk a guy on 4 pitches, only giving up 2 runs in that scenario really isn't that bad.
Yeah, play even, get that game back, and don't give up that lead just yet. Being able to hold your ground and at least stay tied.
Not holding his ground very well this at-bat, though. Went up 0-2, but has now thrown 3 straight pitches outside the zone. Count now full at 3-2 for Tyler Obrecht. We will see what he can do. He has walked already on the year, been hit by a pitch twice, and that would load the bases for Trevor Winterstein, the leadoff man. This one, though, Obrecht fouls back, extending the at-bat. So still a full count. Second inning's been a lot longer than the first one. You said the first inning, both halves were done in about 8 minutes total. This one going to take over 20. And that one laced to short, and it'll be caught A little bit of a pop-up there for Obrecht, and a nice play made by Baker of the Rail Riders. So, 2-run score for the Filthballers, but they strand 2 at second and third. We are tied at 2 here at JJ Isaacson Field at the end of the second. We'll be right back. We're through 2 here at JJ Isaacson Field at Seymour Smith Park with the score all knotted up at 2 runs apiece. This is the final hitter in the order for the Rail Riders. It is number 42, Gabriel Baker. He's got 4 hits on the year. And after Corey Palmer had a rough second inning, he's looking to add to the damage. That one in high for ball 1. And Baker, despite being the last man in the order, he's been a solid hitter this year. 4 hits, a .308 average. One of the more consistent guys in the lineup for the Rail Riders. Gets up 2-0, and as a hitter, whenever you get a count like that or a 3-1 count, you know that a strike's going to be coming. So this is a really good opportunity for Gabriel Baker. Oh, a great curveball there from Corey Palmer. We've talked about that before, Jack, but when that curveball is going, oh, man, it's difficult to hit.
Yeah, curveball slides in there nicely from right to left.
That one grounded to second. Should be an easy play, and it is. That is Jackson Horn making the play and getting the 6-3. So Baker is sent back down to the dugout, and now the leadoff hitter, P.J. Laux, back up. He was dealt with fairly easily on just 2 pitches in the first inning and ended up flying out to left, looking for a bit of a different story. But Palmer dealt with the first 3 in the Rail Riders order very easily in the first. Here's the first pitch. Swung on and fouled off, and we saw that early in the second inning too with, I believe it was Cedric Dunwall. He fouled one off to left in the air that just went foul. So both pitchers playing with fire a little bit, but it's still early in the game. So you think that they might settle down a little as the game goes on, Jack?
I think so, yeah. They're just getting into it, getting comfortable, and I'm not too hot out today, so I don't think he will bring fatigue, but the air is fresher, ball will travel a little better, so I could see it going either way. That's why I'm interested.
Yep, 0-2 count now for Laux. And that one outside, perhaps intentionally so, but Laux does not chase, and it's now 1-2. And we see this a lot, not just with Palmer, but with Vosica as well. They both do a really good job at trying to get hitters to chase when they get 2 strikes on them. That one, no chase at all. Another curveball for Palmer, and that will be his second strikeout of the day on Laux, who is now 0-2. And now it is Braden Artzer, who flew out to center in the first, up to the plate. And that curveball has just been an absolute killer for the Rail Riders offense, hasn't it, Jack?
Yeah, that curveball just sneaks in there right to left. It's been really dangerous and really tough for the Rail Riders to pick up.
It has indeed. That one fouled off. It's only really when the control hasn't been there for Palmer that things have happened. That was how Van Pelt got the double in the second. But when he's throwing the curveball like he is and it's spinning the way he wants it to, it's almost unhittable, as we've seen here. 0-1 to Artzer, and that'll make it 0-2. So Palmer had a pretty rough start to the second inning, but he's settled down incredibly nicely since then, and he's now just a strike away from going 3 up, 3 down in the third. That one a ball. And Jack, what do you think the solution is for the hitters when you're going up against a curveball as unhittable as the one Palmer's throwing today?
You just got to see it really well and take a hack. I mean, you know, you can't be fooled by it being outside or inside. It's going to find the zone eventually, and you just got to time it right and make a good cut.
Yeah, there have been a couple good cuts for the Rail Riders, but those were back in the second inning. Nothing so far for them in the third. 2 up, 2 down. That one, ooh. Looked like Palmer wanted that one, but it was the third straight ball of the at-bat, and the count now full for Braden Artzer. If he's able to get out of this and bring Derek Enertson up to the plate, that could potentially start a mini rally here with 2 outs in the top of the third. But Palmer probably just wants to get out of this and get back to the dugout. And he might with that. That one popped up to left, and it's going to be brought in easily for Trevor Winterstein. So we're 3 up, 3 down in the top of the third. The score remains 2-2. Filthballers' top of the order will be up in the bottom of the third. Trevor Winterstein now up to bat in the bottom of the third for the Filthballers. He grounded out to first in the first inning. And this one also grounded down the first base line, but well foul. So now with a 2-2 ball game, you got to wonder if that's the way this score will stay, because like you said in the pregame, Jack, we've seen a lot of good pitchers duels here at JJ Isaacson Field.
Yeah, it might be shaping that way here today, but 2-2 in the third inning. Just don't know yet. Almost too close to tell, too early to tell. We'll see how both teams get through the middle innings, third, fourth, fifth inning, and go from there.
Absolutely, we will. 0-2 the count now for Winterstein. He went down early in the first as well. He went down 1-2 before recovering to get it to 2-2. And that one nearly hit him. Curveball not quite curving the way Vosico wanted it to there. And it's now a 1-2 count. But Vosica retired the first 3 in the first inning, and then the last 2 to end the second. This one fouled back, and you could hear that one hit the wood. That was an interesting noise. It's now 1-2 is the count still for Winterstein. And definitely doesn't want to strike out, but that's not something he's done too often. Just 3 strikeouts on the year. Another foul ball. back up against the fencing. I tell you, it's a good thing this fencing's here. This broadcast booth will probably have to move.
Yeah, you got to like that if you're the Filthballers. Just make this pitcher work. Make him work. You know, rack up that pitch count and trying to do the best he can by doing that when it's leadoff hitter.
He was already at 39 pitches through just 2 completed innings, and this at-bat will certainly up that count a tick. This one popped up to the edge of the dirt. It's going to be caught by Alex Hall. So Winterstein again fails to get the ball out of the infield on his at-bat. Pops it up to third and takes his seat back in the dugout. Landon Gieser now up to the plate, and he had a similar at-bat to the one Winterstein just had in the first inning. Went down early, kept fouling the ball off, and then eventually popped up in the infield. That is strike 1 to Gieser, though. And say what you will about Vosika's second inning, because he did let the pitch to Anderson and then a couple of pitches to Senior and Christensen get away from him. But other than that, his control has been impeccable today.
Yeah, I mean, that makes for a quick game also. Both these guys, both these starting pitchers being able to find the zone and command is so big to keep yourself in games for a long period of time. And I think that's the direction both these starters are heading.
And you can tell that they're kind of messing with the hitters mentally already. That one, a ball that it hit something. It doesn't look like it hit Gieser, so the at-bat continues. But we've seen a lot of foul balls back to the wall, and that means that the hitters are second-guessing themselves, which I think is exactly what these pitchers want them to do, just getting in the hitters' heads and making them overthink everything. That one, not going to be caught. Excellent effort there by A.J. Urban, but it is fouled off, so the count remains 0-2.
Yeah, these hitters are having a tough time picking up some of the different kinds of pitches by both starting pitchers. We've seen that with the curveball from Palmer and the good command here from Vosico. And, yeah, it's been interesting to watch.
That one, another foul tip it looked like. For a second I thought that just got away from the catcher. But the foul ball is continuing to extend at-bats, and that's one thing Vosica can't afford. If my numbers are correct, he's now hit 50 pitches this game. And that is not something you want to see early in the third. We talked about it, but anybody going too much over 100 or 110 pitches, that's normally a sign to take him out. And he's already almost halfway there, and he's only through 2 1/3. That one, the first ball of the at-bat. So what do you think Vosica should do to maybe lessen the length of these at-bats?
I mean, it's really finding command, because right now we have 2-2 count. So, I mean, and then he's painting them just enough. He's getting them in just enough to where these guys can battle him off and just paint those corners and make life difficult.
1-2. It was an 0-2 count that is now at 3-2, and both Palmer and Vosica have done that a fair amount this game, where they've had the hitter up, but they've just seemingly let it get away. You think that's intentional, or are they just trying to get the hitter to chase and the hitters are being patient?
I think a little bit of both. I think they're trying to get the hitters to chase, but then the hitters aren't fooled, and right there, high and in.
Very high, though. Went back to the backstop almost on the fly. So it's going to be a walk for Landon Gieser. That is going to be the 6th walk of the year for him. He's also been hit by a pitch 4 times. So 10 times he has reached base because of a pitcher's mishap now. And now Jackson Horn to the plate. Popped up to third in the first. This is his second at-bat of the day, but now with a man on and only 1 away, you got to figure Horn's got the green light to swing the bat as much as he wants here.
Again, the way that Vosica's pitching right now, have to be patient. He's missing the zone more than he did in the first and second inning, so, wait on it and wait for that right pitch to hit. I think that's what they're doing a little bit.
And you do wonder if fatigue might play a role in that, because you mentioned weather is not that warm, but if you've already thrown over 50 pitches, eventually standing out in the sun like that is going to get to you, and maybe it's getting to Vosica. Now 2-0, that is 6 straight pitches outside the zone for Vosica. Really starting to struggle with his command, and like you said, when you have command, things go great. When you don't, they don't go as great, and they're not going real great for Vosica right now. 2-0, that one little low, a little too low, and it's now a 3-0 count. So Horn, if he didn't already, almost certainly has the green light to swing away now, Jack.
I don't see a reason why you would, though. Sit back and wait for that right pitch, and I'd for sure take just like he did right there.
Took the curve there from Vosica. So it is now a 3-1 count.
Now you can do anything for a ground ball in the middle infield if you're the Rail Riders.
They're not going to get it, though. That one lofted to left and caught. So the fly out to left for Horn means that he will go 0 for 2 on the day so far. And that'll bring it 2 outs. But Brendan Anderson has some experience with clutch hitting, had the triple last inning, ended up scoring. And we will see what the erstwhile hitter of the week in the Corn Belt League can do here with 2 outs and a man on.
Yeah, scored the first run of the day for the Filthballers, whacked one in the left center, and now he has runner on first base, and see if he can bring one in.
Oh, and 1 count now for Anderson. That'll make it 0-2. A great pitch there from Vosica. Maybe starting to get a little bit of that control back, because you cannot afford to miss anything on Anderson. As we saw in the second inning, you miss the zone or where you want your pitch to go, he will take that ball for a ride into the outfield easily. That one low and in for ball 1. Now a 1-2 count. And that ball gets away from the catcher, Dunwald. So Horn will easily, Geezer will easily get to second on the wild pitch. And Vosica lost control a little bit. But in a case like this, when you're going up against Anderson, it's almost better to lose control completely than to just lose a little bit. Because if you miss the strike zone entirely, he's not swinging. But if you miss your location by a few inches and he swings on it, ball's going to go a long way. And now we've got a full count for Brendan Anderson.
His Filthballers doing a really nice job racking up the pitch count here early in this game, and patience really helps at the plate, and that's exactly what the Filthballers are doing.
And Anderson been one of the most patient guys in the league throughout this entire year. A slugging percentage of .710, but he strikes out for just the 7th time all year. So Vosica gets out of the jam, and that was a sorely needed strikeout for him, especially with the pitch count climbing, as you mentioned. But we are now through 3 frames. The score remains 2-2. We'll be right back for the top of the 4th.
No matter what your age, skill level, or position, your baseball season begins at the Strike Zone. Featuring state-of-the-art batting cages, group and private instruction, the Strike Zone provides athletes all the training and equipment you need to get your game to the next level. Give the gift of development to your baseball or softball player. Purchase your Strike Zone gift cards today. Baseball never ends at the Strike Zone. No matter what your age, skill level, or position, your baseball season begins at the Strike Zone. Featuring state-of-the-art batting cages, group and private instruction, the Strike Zone provides athletes all the training and equipment you need to get your game to the next level. Give the gift of development to your baseball or softball player. Purchase your Strike Zone gift cards today. Baseball never ends at the Strike Zone.
And welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field here at Seymour Smith Park. Brendan Preisman alongside Jack McGonigal here for you today. In the top of the 4th, we are deadlocked at 2 between the Rail Riders and the Filthballers. Both teams had some wild second innings, but settled down some in the 3rd. And now it is Derek Enertson, the right fielder, up to the plate for the Rail Riders to open this 4th inning. That first pitch from Palmer in a little too high. So a 1-0 count on Enertson. That ball, oh wow, that broke a lot. I thought that was going to be in the dirt, but it somehow hit the strike zone right on time. So now a 1-1 count for Palmer, and he's done a much better job at getting out of at-bats quickly than his counterpart Vosika has. You don't see many foul balls from him. Normally, if a hitter gets contact, it's going to go fair, but it's not going to go fair for long. He's kept a lot of balls in the infield, and that's been key for him today.
Yeah, I haven't seen many long foul balls from the Rail Riders, and the defense has played really well so far for the Filthballers.
Indeed it is. That one fouled off the catcher, it looked like. So the count will remain 1-2. And Enertson, who grounded out to third to end the first inning, just trying to keep this at-bat alive. Get his 8th hit on the year, perhaps. But that one will be popped up to the near edge of the dirt. And instead of grounding out to third, he will pop up to second. That is Ryan making the play. No, excuse me, is Repa making the play for the Filthballers. And now Cedric Dunwald, who had the first hit of the game for the Rail Riders and ended up coming around to score, will come up to bat, and he's looking to replicate that first at-bat. We'll see what he can do. Lets the first pitch go by for a strike, and we saw that in his first at-bat, too. He's a very patient hitter. That first at-bat for him lasted 5 pitches before he finally found a pitch he liked, and he was able to lace it into right field, or center field, excuse me. So we will see what he can do with this one. Oh! Almost got to first after that one hit him, but he was able to duck away in time, so the count will go to 1-1, and Dunwald will stay in the batter's box.
Yeah, way duck out of that way. Don't take one for the team. Stay in there and try and get a hit.
But try not to get hit. That wouldn't be as fun. 2-1 now to Dunwald.
Yeah, never fun getting plunked in the head, and would have if he didn't duck out of the way there.
Yeah. Then you can debate the merits of whether he should have taken one for the team, but if this one drops, which it will not, that is Brendan Anderson coming up under. Oh, he dropped it. Oh, wow. So the Filthballers, who rarely make any sort of errors, have a good chance there, but can't keep Dunwald from getting to first. That is Brendan Anderson, the Corn Belt League's hitter of the week for last week, unable to make the play, so Dunwald, for the second straight inning, is able to make it to first.
Yeah, Brendan didn't see that all the way through his glove. Thought he had it until he didn't, and got to watch that thing get into the glove before you take your eyes off it.
And that one going to be fair down the third base line, and that could be trouble for the Filthballers. We might have a bit of a pickle here, but Dunwald is able to slide back into second quickly. So for his second straight at-bat, A.J. Urban gets on base with a single. That one was absolutely laced down the left field line. Could have gone a really long distance if Winterstein hadn't been able to make the play. But now we might be seeing some trouble for Palmer again. It's these even innings that seem to give the pitcher so much trouble. We've got first and second with nobody out as Garrett Globe comes to the plate. And that one is going to be a single. Will it score Dunwald? It will not. He will hold up at third. Looks like he may have had a chance to go, but boy, oh boy, this game has almost completely shifted. The Rail Riders have come out in this fourth inning swinging.
And I'm telling you, it's a momentum game. I mean, getting that air, getting that runner on it, it's all a chain reaction. And kudos to those Filthballer defenders out in the outfield, getting that ball in quickly, not letting these Rail Rider runners advance more than one bag.
Yeah, for Dunwald, I believe there was a courtesy runner for him last inning. No courtesy runner for him this time. That pitch in, and that's going to be laced into left. That's going to score a run, make it 2. That is Dunwald and Urban coming around to score, both for the second time today. And a nice shot to left from Ryan there. And now all of a sudden, the Rail Riders have a 2-run lead.
And nice piece of hit and lifting that one down the left field line, and a 2 RBI base hit for Cole Ryan. Kind of going back and forth on innings. You see 1, 2, 3, then you see 2. You see 1, 2, 3, and then you see 2 more. That's how the Rail Riders have done it. Rail Riders have done it here in the first 4 innings.
And keep in mind, there's still nobody out. It's first and second, nobody out. There could easily be a lot more scoring to come for the Rail Riders.
Believe there is 1. You have to pop up to second base.
My apologies. Yep, started up with a pop out to second, but since then, Dunwald reached on an error. Urban singled to left, Globe singled to left, and then Ryan singled to left center. So it's been all Filthballers here in the top of the 4th. And Palmer maybe finally starting to get rattled for good. He bounced back nicely from the second. But this, allowing 4 straight base runners, might not be something that is as easily overcome. That might make it 5 straight base runners unless Anderson's able to make the play. He is this time. So a line out to right for Van Pelt, who had the triple last inning. Anderson atones for his earlier mistake there by making the play. 2 outs now. Men on first and second. This is Alex Hall. And there's been a lot of swings early in the count for the Rail Riders this inning. I believe it was Urban, Globe, and Ryan all swung and made contact within the first 2 pitches of their at-bats. So the patience you mentioned could have been important for the Filthballers. The Rail Riders not really using it, but it's worked out well for them. They've got 2 runs across already in the 4th. And that one popped to left center, but too high to drop into the gap. A nice play there from Nolan Christensen, the center fielder. And that will end a wild 4th inning for the Rail Riders. They're able to put 2 men on, but they leave Globe and Ryan stranded at second and first. So now we go to the bottom of the 4th, but the Rail Riders retake the lead. It's 4-2. Welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field at Seymour Smith Park. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning, the Rail Riders have a 4-2 lead, and a big reason is that man on screen right now. Cole Ryan had a 2 RBI single, scoring Cedric Dunwald and A.J. Urban in what was a very rough inning for Corey Palmer. He only threw 16 pitches in the inning, but a lot of them were because his at-bats ended so early because there was so much contact being made. So the Filthballers will once again have to respond to a 2-run deficit. Hunter Babe will be up first for them.
And you got in the bullpen, you got number 94 for the Filthballers.
That is Nick Mercek from York College. He's thrown 6.1 innings on the year. Struck out 5, only giving up 5 hits. Or no. Is it 94 for the Filthballers or the Rail Riders? Oh, for the Rail Riders, yep. So it is Nick Mercek.
Sorry to confuse you there.
Yeah.
From your college, number 94,
So it is Nick Mercek.
He is in the game now.
6.1 innings thrown on the year.
College, number 10, Hunter Bay.
So we'll see what he can do against Hunter Babe, who had a walk and a run in the second. And Babe fouls that first one off.
You gotta start making these at-bats more valuable. Down 2 runs, down in the middle innings, only a 7-inning game, so can't waste at-bats at this point in the game.
Babe is one of the more patient hitters on this Filthballers squad that's, quite frankly, filled with power hitters. Like we talked about earlier, he does have 3 walks and 2 hit by pitches compared to 7 hits, so he's just as liable to get on base by waiting as he is by swinging. This one foul, and Babe already walking back to the dugout. A nice play there from the catcher Dunwald. And that'll make it 1 out. So a nice job there from Mercek to get the first out.
Yeah, nice job there from Dunwald there to track that thing. I know it's tough looking up in the sun and the sunny sky, and he follows that all the way through to his glove and makes the play. Nice job.
Yeah, we did see that a lot in the CWS too, where the sun would occasionally cause fielders, especially in the outfield, to just misjudge or misplay a ball, and that would lead to a lot of offensive runs. Dunwald, though, able to make a nice play. He's been probably the team MVP on offense today. Reached base twice, scored a run both times. Done a very good job offensively, showing the defensive prowess there too. And now Mercek goes up 0-2 on Mashacek, who popped out to second in the second inning. And getting the reliever in this early, like you said, it is only a 7-inning game, but Vosico only went 3 innings, but now getting Mercek in when he's fresh and the hitters aren't, that might be a really good decision. And he got Mashacek to strike out looking. What a great piece of pitching we've seen from Mercek so far. He's thrown just 6 pitches, but 5 of them have been in the strike zone. And Nick Mercek now has his 6th strikeout of the year. But it is Derek Sr. who had an RBI earlier in the game. Up to the plate, we will see what he can do against Mercek, trying to keep the Filthballers alive in this inning. And maybe, I know it's still early, but perhaps their first loss since the 10th of June. It's incredible how much of a tear they've been on lately, but the Rail Riders pitching staff has risen to the occasion admirably.
Yeah, winning 8 in a row, but the Filthballers haven't been able to hit like they've been doing as of late, and that's the Rail Riders pitching. It's been terrific lately.
Yeah. That ball not going to get out of the infield, but Mercek will get out of the inning quickly. So a 9-pitch inning for Mercek. Comes in relief and does a fantastic job. 3 up, 3 down, and the Rail Riders will maintain that 4-2 lead as we head to the top of the 5th. And one reliever is met with another here between the Filthballers and the Red Raiders. As we enter the top of the 5th inning, this is number 9, Christian Sivertson, the Doane student, pitching right now for the Filthballers. He's been one of their better relievers on the year. 6.1 innings pitched, given up 2 runs. Has not allowed a hit yet, but he has walked 5 and hit another. Does have 5 strikeouts, though. So it's been pretty much feast or famine for Sivertson. He's got a little more of a sidearm delivery, but we will see how the Rail Riders respond to that. They had an excellent 4th inning, but now at the bottom of their order in Alex Hall and Gabriel Baker coming up, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. So Sivertson getting his first action of the day with his team down 4-2. He's definitely going to need to, at the very least, limit the damage, or the Filthballers might be on their way to just their 2nd loss of the year.
Which he's been doing, 6 1/3, 2 appearances. It's been really, really good.
He's just got to make sure that no more runs get across and at least give his offense a chance. That one, a sidearm strike for Sivertson.
Yeah, he's allowed 2 runs, but none of them were earned. 5 walks, 5 Ks. Hit 1 batter. Got a 0.00 ERA.
And he's now ahead 0-2 in the count to Alex Hall, who flew out to center in the to end the 2nd inning. Hall standing in strong. Took a cut and might have tipped the ball just enough. He started walking back to the dugout. I think he thought he might have struck out, but he was able to get a foul tip on that ball, so he will be able to stay alive. But it is still an 0-2 count for Alex Hall, and he fouls another one back. And Sivertson definitely not quite as much of a deep arsenal as Corey Palmer had, as we're seeing right now. A lot of fastball, but he's throwing it well so far, and Hall hasn't been able to make solid contact yet. There's some decently solid contact, but it's right to the first baseman, and that is Mashacek making the play. So it's just a grounder to first for Alex Hall, and he will be sent back to the dugout.
From Hutchinson Community College, number 24, P.J. Lau.
So that was Trace Mashashek making a nice play on defense. And now P.J. Laux coming back to the plate. I was under the impression it was supposed to be Gabriel Baker, but I wonder if the 10th batter rule is now done. I don't know. Either way, Sivertson throwing a first pitch strike to Laux, getting ahead 0-1, and Laux has really had a rough day at the plate. We mentioned him in the pregame as a guy to watch, but he has not really lived up to expectations. Flew out to left and then struck out, and he is now down 0-2, in danger of going 0-3. And for a guy who's been really the leader of this offense, who's got 7 hits on the year, 4 runs, going hitless throughout this game would be a huge problem. Sivertson, though, let that one get away from him. It's now 1-2.
Yeah, it's been a little rocky today, but you're going to have those days. I mean, guys don't go 4 for 4 every game, and right now it's been a bit of a slump here in the first couple at-bats, as he's now 0 for 3.
This time it is a fly out to center for P.J. Laux. So it's been fly out, strike out, fly out for Laux. Perhaps the second man in the order, Braden Artzer, will have more luck. Hitting 154 on the year, 0-2 today. Flew out to center in the first, flew out to left in the third to end it. But it's now a righty-lefty matchup. There's potential for Archer to maybe make something happen here. And you can see there Sivertson a little more intimidated by the lefty, throwing away from him to start off, trying to get him to chase. It's a 1-0 count for Archer. And this might be just what the Rail Riders need. That one hit solidly, but right to second. And that is going to be Nick Ripa making the play and ending the inning. So it's 3 up, 3 down after Sivertson comes in. An excellent inning in relief, but it is still 4-2 Rail Riders as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field as we head to the bottom of the 5th. The Filthballers haven't been able to push a run across since the bottom of the 2nd, but they need one now, down 4-2, and Nolan Christensen, who has been a force on defense and also had a single earlier in this game, is going to be the one to try and make something happen against Mercek for the Rail Riders. First pitch goes by for a strike, and Mercek has just had impeccable control so far today. Nick Mercek, for a guy who hasn't seen too much action today, only 6 1/3 pitch today heading in, he's been spectacular at getting his pitches where he wants them to go. And in that instance, he gets Christensen to line out to right. That is Enertson making the play.
From DMAC, number 24.
Yeah, we have a couple really good relief pitchers in the game now. It's a quick tempos right now, and both hitting teams just can't get anything going offensively. It's a pitcher's game at this moment.
The Filthballers especially, we expected a lot more from them offensively heading into this. They've only had 2 hits out of the infield. They had 1 infield single and a couple of walks, but that accounts for all of their base runners. It's been, except for the triple by Brendan Anderson, it's been basically dominated by the Rail Riders pitching staff.
And something you may notice, Nick Mercek has a bit of a velo grind. I guess more of an up and velo, I should say. I was looking for the right word compared to the starter.
Rosica, yeah.
Yeah. So, just you got
a bit of a
to change
different
that
delivery,
timing.
too.
Yep,
Yeah.
different delivery. You got to change get acclimated to the speed change as it's a bit quicker, and I think that's a bit challenging for the Filthballers.
Mercek threw an excellent curveball there. In the bottom of the 4th, he forced a pop out to the catcher, then got a strikeout looking and a ground out to the second baseman. That one fouled off. The catcher, Dunwald, running for it, but he will not have a chance at it as it goes over the fence. The count now 2-2 still for Nick Ripa, trying to get some sort of rally going. But the Filthballers only have 8 outs to go unless we go to extras. That ball low, too low for Mercek. So now it's going to be a full count for Nick Ripa, and we will see what he can do with it. And he will strike out looking as well. The second strikeout looking induced by Nick Mercek already. He is doing a heck of a job in relief. And now Tyler Obrecht, the extra hitter, will come up and try and keep this 5th inning alive. But so far it's been 5 hitters and 5 outs for Nick Mercek. He's been playing incredibly, Jack.
Yeah, he's pitched really well so far. 5 up, 5 down for him in his outing, and he's just cruising past these Filthballer hitters without a problem.
The Filthballers dealing with one of the better pitchers they have dealt with since June 10th when they were handed, so far, their one and only loss. They were 1 hit in that instance. A lot more hits this inning, but they just haven't been able to string them together properly. Count goes to 2-0 on Obrecht. And that'll make it 3-0. Tipped off the catcher's glove, but no base runners to go. So now Obrecht, a big-time hitter's count, 3-0. And I know you said earlier, Jack, that it's important to stay patient and wait for a pitch you like, but when you're down 2 runs and there's not much innings left in the game, sometimes you got to swing at a pitch like that was right down the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't be too overly patient. Have to go out and get those pitches that are right there for you and give it a ride like you know how to do. And right now the Filthballers haven't been doing much of that, although it was a good decision to take the walk.
Obrecht, that is his 2nd walk of the year. He popped up to short in the bottom of the 2nd, but he will keep the inning alive. And now Trevor Winterstein will get his 3rd crack at the plate today. He is 0 of 2. He grounded out to first in the top of the 1st, and in the bottom of the 1st, and then popped out to 2nd. And there's going to be a courtesy runner, it looks like, for Obrecht. That is Chase DeLoach,
Now running at first base.
who has 5 runs on the year.
From Bridgeton Academy.
And the Filthballers, perhaps sensing that this might be the best run-scoring opportunity, they're trying to make sure they got their speedy base runners in place in case Winterstein is able to get his first extra base hit of the year. They could potentially bring DeLoach around to score. And that one is cranked deep to center, fading to left center, and it is caught. An excellent play there by Braden Archer.
No runs on no hits. No errors.
So a fly out to 8th by Trevor Winterstein ends the 5th, and that is the 3rd straight scoreless inning for the Filthballers. They are still down 4-2. We've got 2 innings to go here at JJ Isaacson Field. We'll be right back for the top of the 6th. Welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field here at Seymour Smith Park. Brendan Preisman alongside Jack McGonigal. 2 innings to go in what has been a dramatic pitchers battle between the Filthballers and the Rail Riders here in the Corn Belt League. The Rail Riders have the Filthballers right now in an unfamiliar position, losing, but we will see what Syvertson can do as the reliever to help build back some momentum. That is a first pitch ball. But being down is not something that this Filthballers team is used to. Normally when Syvertson comes in, he's protecting a lead, not trying to get one back as the count goes to 1-1. But really the last time the Filthballers were threatened before that Royal Blue Dogs game, which was the second of a doubleheader, was their loss. That one popped up to first in foul territory, so Enertson will be headed back to the dugout. With a pop out to first, excuse me. But
from Mount Mercy, number 30, Cedric Dunwall.
Looking at the Filthballers' schedule, they really haven't even had to sweat throughout most of their victories, but in this case, they certainly are sweating, Jack, and you can see it starting to wear on some of the team, especially offensively.
Yeah, they've been stopped to a halt offensively in the past couple innings.
That one popped up to center. So Syvertson doing a great job defensively. But like as you were saying, offensively, ground to a halt.
Yeah, they've been Mercek and Vasiko have been really good for the pitching wise for the Rail Riders, and that's what's been really challenging for the Filthballers to get really anything going offensively. It's been really good pitching from the Rail Riders, and that was in the little pregame spiel we had before the game began.
They were going to need a good outing from their pitchers, and they have gotten one. Nick Mercek has been incredible. That one line to center. Christian Syvertson has also been incredible. He gets out of the inning very quickly. That'll end the top of the 6th. Rail Riders unable to put a run across, but they still lead 4-2. We'll be right back at JJ Isaacson Field for the bottom of the 6th. Welcome back to Corn Belt Baseball. The Filthballers have been one of the best offensive teams in the league this year, perhaps the best, but they have been severely limited so far today. Down 4-2 in the bottom of the sixth, and not too much time left to get some runs across. This is Ingram pitching, I believe. Or hitting, excuse me. Gage Ingram. He's played more pitcher for this team, but I believe he's taking over for Landon Geezer in the lineup. And struck out on 3 pitches. Boy, oh boy, Nick Mercek has just been untouchable today so far. He's arguably been the best pitcher in the game.
Yeah, so far he's been lights out. He's gone faced 10 batters and got all 10 of them out, including 3 strikeouts. It's been really fun to watch so far, and Mercek is the definition of dealing out of the pen for the Rail Riders.
And all those strikeouts were looking, too. So, yeah, absolutely, you're right, Jack. He has been dealing up a storm. But now goes down 2-0. This is Jackson Horn, the shortstop, who's 0 for 2 today right now. He is up for the Filthballers, trying to get something going. And now, almost certainly the worst at-bat Mercek has had so far, 3 straight balls, and he's now facing a 3-0 count, a definite hitter's count, but only 2 offensive innings to go for the Filthballers, so they got to take advantage of plays like these. Horn sits on that one. And, Jack, we already kind of talked about it, but what's your opinion on waiting on that pitch? Do you think it's a good idea, a bad idea, a bit of both?
I think you always take the 3-0 count just because you don't want to waste the at-bat by swinging and being too aggressive, but that was a heck of a hit right there down the right field line.
Swinging on the 3-1 instead is Jackson Horn, and he gets his first hit of the day by lining it into right field. And that brings up Brendan Anderson. Has 20 RBIs on the year, and if he could make it 21, we might have a whole new ball game all of a sudden. Mercek has not yet faced Anderson. Anderson struck out to end the third. Mercek came in the fourth. So this is the first time these two have faced each other. And Anderson lets the first pitch go by without swinging for a strike. That delivery of Mercek is a little bit different from Bosica, excuse me. And that's been trouble for a lot of the Filthballer hitters. Going back to first is Mercek, trying to keep Horn honest, prevent him from stealing a base.
Yeah, and that first pitch there to Anderson just wasn't Anderson, so he laid off, and don't want to waste that bat. Make sure that's the pitch you want before taking a crack at it. I think that's exactly what Brendan Anderson's doing. He has an opportunity to get a couple of Filthballers on the base pass, but a huge steal here.
Yeah, and especially knowing that you only have, at this point, 5 outs left on offense if you were the Filthballers. And like you said, a fantastic steal there by Jackson Horn. Read the situation perfectly. 1 out, 1 man on first. Steals second. Stole it very easily. And we've seen a lot of steals from the Filthballers. That's been the one area where they've been better than the Rail Riders. The Rail Riders just don't seem to know how to deal with steals. That one high and deep. It's going to drop for Brendan Anderson. And that's going to be his second extra base hit of the day. Horn will come around to score easily. So Brendan Anderson, second double of the day for him. And last week's hitter of the week, who has a chance to be this week's hitter of the week as well, has just been absolutely outstanding at the plate.
And that's why you lay off that first pitch. It wasn't him, and he found that right pitch and drove it out to the gap in right center field and came around to score. And that's also a big stolen base by Horn there to get to second base, because he doesn't score if he's still standing on first. So really well played baseball down the stretch so far here in the 6th inning from the Filthballers.
Yeah, now we see a mound conference here for the Rail Riders. The first time anyone's been threatening for them really since the second inning, and we've already got a run across the board with a man on second, only one out. So the question is here now for you, Jack. If you're the Rail Riders manager, do you keep Mercek in because he's been dealing so well, or do you maybe start and get somebody warming up in the bullpen?
You know, I think if you let one more runner on, you yank him. But it's a tough decision because a base hit ties this game up, and we're back to square one. And that would be now 2 blown leads for the Rail Riders against the 11-1 Filthballers. They're 11-1. They don't quit. It's a risky decision, but they're keeping Mercek in the game. They trust him on the mound.
He has been dealing, and he deals there with a strike. And I think maybe one of the reasons they're leaving Mercek in is because the offense has been very successful. I'm not sure if I mentioned in the pregame, but this Rail Riders team, as that one is fouled off, this Rail Riders team has been held under 3 runs 4 times. And it looks like there is somebody warming up in the bullpen now for the Rail Riders. Might be Creighton Sylvain. And it is Creighton Sylvain, who's got 3 innings pitched on the year. That one fouled off again by Babe, who is 0 for 1 today with a walk and a run. So 0-2 count, man on second, 1 out. Here's the delivery from Mercek, and it's going to be a grounder to second, mishandled. It's going to be close, but Babe is out just barely. Anderson, though, goes to third, so now with 2 outs, there's a man on third, and it is almost certain that a Mahacek hit to the outfield, or excuse me, this is no longer Trace Mahacek, it is now Hunter Scruggs hitting for the Filthballers. He's got 6 hits on the year, 5 RBIs, so we'll see what he can do with this opportunity.
Yeah, that's a big play by Cole Ryan to regroup himself and get that out. That's a big time out, and now just 2 outs instead of 1. That's huge.
Means that Scruggs couldn't hit a sacrifice fly at this point, even if he wanted to. But Scruggs has a 2-0 count for him, so we will see what Mercek does. But it does look like, unless something drastic changes, like you said, Jack, the Rail Riders are going to leave Mercek in. They trust him to hold on to this lead. And that one, painting the corners nicely, was Mercek. That goes in for a strike. So it's 2-1 now for Scruggs, and his first plate appearance of the day. Anderson still sitting on third. That one up high. Scruggs thought about cutting on it, but did not. So it's a 3-1 count. And like you said earlier, Jack, you'd normally wait on the 3-1 count. Now you've got a 3-1 count. Big opportunity here for Hunter Scruggs.
This is huge. I mean, this is a huge at-bat for both sides.
Oh, and they walk him. So Hunter Scruggs, the pinch hitter, may be a little too dangerous to deal with for Nick Mercek. He is walked, and there will be a pinch runner for him. This is number 32, Tyler Levy, who scored a run earlier, I believe, pinch running for Babe. And now another pinch hitter. This is Anthony Pohl, pinch hitting for Derek Sr. So 2 straight pinch hitters for the Filthballers. And, Jack, I'm not sure how I feel about bringing on 2 guys who haven't had a cut at all today in the bottom of the 6th. What do you think?
You know, it's guys that haven't faced Mercek yet. I think the reason he made the change is, I mean, these guys, you know, guys like Mercek and Senior didn't get hits off him, so maybe some new blood and try and, you know, get a one-for-one first appearance and get a hit. And down the stretch, got to try something new if something's not working, and that's exactly the adjustments the Filthballers are making here.
Runners on the corners for Pohl. 2 out, 0-1 count to him. And he swings there, but that'll probably end the inning. Another grounder to second, and Nick Mercek gets out of his first real jam of the day. Brendan Anderson got to third on an RBI after an RBI double. but he was stranded there, and the Rail Riders maintain their lead. It's 4-3 over the Filthballers. We've got 1 inning to go. We'll be right back. Welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field at Seymour Smith Park. Brendan Preisman alongside Jack McGonigal. We've got 1 inning to go here in what's been an exciting game between the Rail Riders and the Filthballers. Rail Riders trying to hand the Filthballers their second loss of the season and first since June 10th. And that first pitch taken by Garrett Globe, who's got a single and a strikeout looking today. Going up against Christian Syvertson for the first time. And grounds it to third. It gets past the third baseman. Ingram wearing a red cap. And that will put Globe on base for the second time. And that's also the second time he's had a grounder right up the line. He had one like that in the 4th inning, too, where he just basically grounded it right down the line and was able to get a single out of it. So now Cole Ryan, the second baseman, who's 1 of 2 on the day, going up against Syvertson. And he will foul it back as that almost hits the booth. Thank goodness for these windows, because some of this broadcast equipment is not cheap.
Well, I mean, going back to that last play, that's what you get with natural grass sometimes. You get those mean, weird hops, and exactly what we saw at third base.
Yeah, Ingram just wasn't quite able to handle it. And that base runner could be huge with the Rail Riders trying to extend their lead in this final inning, barring extras. Syvertson gets it to a 1-1 count after the ball. And Globe, for being the extra hitter, Ryan has done a nice job. He had a 2 RBI single in the 4th that brought around Dunwald and Urban. But he is now down 1-2 to Syvertson. And Syvertson trying to make sure that his team's got a little bit of extra hope heading into the bottom of the 7th, which would more than likely be their last gasp. That throw gets away from the first baseman, but they're able to recover. That is Hunter Scruggs on first. Oh, boy, that was close. One of the worst pitches of the day for Syvertson. Almost came in and hit Ryan up high. Luckily, he's okay. So the count now goes to 2-2. Syvertson looking back at first, making sure Globe is still there. Globe took a long lead, and Ryan is struck out. That is, I believe, the first strikeout for Syvertson on the day, and a key out. So now 2 outs to go. And now Jackson Van Pelt, who had a double and then advanced to third on a throw home in the 2nd, has 2 RBI already on the day, will get his 3rd and likely final crack at the plate. Lets that first one go by, ball 1, and it's really been the guys late in the order that have been huge for the Rail Riders today, Jack.
Well, you got Van Pelt's got a double, and then Cole Ryan had a single. Yeah, just a mix of different guys throughout the order.
Another deep shot by Van Pelt, but this one easy pickings for Nolan Christensen, who makes the grab. So we now have 2 away in the top of the 7th. And now the last chance to extend the offensive showing is Alex Hall, the third baseman. He is 0 for 2 on the day. Both have been flyouts to center that have been fairly easy for Nolan Christensen to catch. Christensen also is due up first in the bottom of the 7th. Man on, 2 outs for Hall. And he takes the first pitch for a strike. So looking ahead to the bottom of the 7th, it's Christensen, Ripa, and then Obrecht up for the Filthballers. Those 3 have combined for just 1 hit and 1 walk so far today. If you're the hitting coach, what do you tell them as they walk to the plate?
Just don't waste the at-bats. I mean, really value them because that's it for you. And the bottom of the order, so that's kind of a plus for the Rail Riders. They haven't produced much in this game, so if you want to work with any part of the order from the Filthballers, Rail Raiders have it, those 8, 9, 10 hitters.
Definitely better than having Brendan Anderson be first up, that's for sure.
Or Anderson with guys on base, absolutely. Trying to avoid that part of the lineup for the Rail Riders.
That one, solid contact, but popped up too high not to get, and Brendan Anderson makes the play. So for the 3rd time, Alex Hall flies out to an outfielder, and that will more than likely end the Rail Riders' offensive day. They've done well, scoring 4 runs. They hold a 1-run lead on the Filthballers. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 7th. Welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field at Seymour Smith Park for what is likely the final half inning of this game. Pitching now for the Rail Riders is another closer for them. It's number 94. Oh, never mind. It's still Nick Mercek. Excuse me. He's been pitching already. He's pitched 3 innings already and done very well, giving up just 1 run. And now Nolan Christensen, who is 1 for 2 on the day, will look to try and give the Filthballers some life here in their final inning. Christensen has 9 hits on the year now after a single in the top of the 2nd, but then he lined out to right in the 5th. We will see what he can do here in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch is a ball from Mercek. And he and Syvertson both deserve mention because those 2 closers have been very, very good tonight.
Yeah, it's been really good bullpen work from both sides, the Rail Riders and the Filthballers. Filthballers, you just get that first guy on. Nolan Christensen, he's had the hot hand really all year long here in the belt. If you can get him on, work some magic, get him on stolen base, and, things will happen.
1-2 count to Christensen now. The key, though, would be to avoid a double play ball because if Christensen gets on, you're almost assured to see Trevor Winterstein up to the plate unless there's a double play. So that steal that you mentioned, that might be necessary for the Filthballers to make sure that their top of the order can come to the plate one last time.
No, absolutely. And have to be smart on the base paths as well, but that's not how you start the inning.
No. Smart on the base pass, maybe not as smart on the plate. A 4-pitch strikeout for Nolan Christensen. That is the first of his 4 strikeouts that Nick Mercek has gotten swinging, if you can believe that. And now another pinch hitter for the Filthballers. This is their 4th pinch hitter, and it is Jason Carrig, the second baseman. He's got 2 hits and 12 at-bats on the year, but he's going to need number 3 right here to keep the Filthballers alive. Takes the first pitch for a ball. And like you mentioned last inning, they want to get some guys who haven't faced Mercek yet because Mercek might not know their tendencies. But even then, I still sometimes question the wisdom of having a guy with no experience today coming up in a do-or-die at-bat. This one, grounded to short. It's going to be close, but a nice throw across the diamond from Gabriel Baker to make the play. So a 6-3 for Carrig, and we are just 1 out away from the Rail Riders pulling off what I think could really qualify as a big upset.
Yeah, the Rail Riders coming in 3-5, Filthballers in at 11-1. But, you know, it's baseball. Anybody can beat anybody. I mean, we saw that with the College World Series, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, 2 teams that didn't host a regional. I mean, you know, whoever gets hot right now, the Rail Riders pitching staff is hot.
This is another pinch hitter. This is Isaac Bonner, the second baseman, taking over now. He's got 6 hits and 22 at-bats. So this is a guy that normally you won't find in the bottom of the order. He's just pinch hitting here because they need his bat. Got a 273 average on the year, but quickly goes down 0-2. So we are 1 strike away from the Filthballers losing for, as I've said multiple times, the first time since June 10th. And really, like you said, Jack, give all credit to their pitching staff because it was incredible. That ball is outside.
Yeah, just a tad outside the zone. Bonner almost too close to let that go by, but he knows the zone pretty well and lays off that one. Still has at least 1 more pitch in this AB.
And he'll have 1 more after that one, which he fouled back into the fencing. And, I mean, looking at the offense for the Rail Riders, too, it's been pretty successful against a team like the Filthballers, who normally has some pretty good pitching. Cedric Dunwald scored 2 runs. A.J. Urbon scored 2 runs. Jackson Van Pelt had a triple. I mean, the bats have been there, too, but it's really been the pitching that has carried the day, especially Nick Mercek coming in, having to keep the lead and doing so very admirably. 2-2 count for Bonner. And that one popped up very high, close to the fence, but not there, and it is caught. So that is it. Cedric Dunwald makes the catch, and that will be the ball game. The Rail Riders defeat the Filthballers 4-3. What a dramatic game that was, but the Rail Riders earned that win. Their defense and their pitching was just spectacular.
Yeah, it really was. I think the Rail Riders from the get-go just had that upper edge, grabbing that 2-0 lead. Even though that lead went away, they were able to regroup and get 2 more, and Mercek and the rest of the pitching staff looked really good from the Rail Riders, and it was an impressive victory, and they're on to 4-5.
And you mentioned it when it happened, but real quick, I want to go over that error by Brendan Anderson in the top of the 4th. It was Cedric Dunwald who hit it into right. Anderson looked like he had a beat on it, but dropped it. Dunwald ended up scoring a run on that trip around the base pass in a game that the Rail Riders only won by 1 run. You think that error might have been the turning point, or you think it might have been something else?
Yeah, I think so. It's all momentum, and I think the Rail Riders grabbed the momentum at that very moment, were able to get 2, and Mercek did that damage control and limited the Filthballers to just 1 run late in the game, and the Rail Riders hang on. They win 4-3.
Yeah, Nick Mercek certainly deserves a lot of credit. Allowed just 2 hits and 1 run. Did walk a guy, but he also struck out 4. Certainly an impressive performance in relief for Mercek, and a well-deserved win for the Rail Riders, who now move to 4-5. Filthballers drop to 11-2. Thank you all so much for watching. For Jaden Taylor, out. welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field at Seymour Smith Park. The Filthballers take their second loss of the season, losing to the Rail Riders 4-3. I'm here with one of the authors of that victory, Nick Mersek. Had an incredible game, pitched 4 innings in relief, and Nick, it must feel really good for you guys to beat the #1 team in the league.
Yeah, you know, we went on a losing streak for a while, but then to beat this team, it'll do a lot for our confidence going forward.
So you had to go up against one of the best hitting teams in the league. Were there any nerves at all for you, or was it just you got a job to do, you got to get it done?
Just you got a job to do, and when the defense is playing well, it gives you a lot more confidence as a pitcher.
Yeah, you had 4 strikeouts in this game. Would you say that you had any particular pitch that was really working for you, or was everything just working well for you?
The curveball was working well, going to that early in counts, and then just kind of catching them off guard later in counts with the fastball.
Mm-hmm. Were there any nerves at all after you gave up the double and the 6? Because you had a guy come around to score, you had a man on second with just 1 out. Were there any nerves there, or did you just forget it and get on to the next?
I just forgot it. You know, that guy that hit a double is a really good hitter, so you just got to give that to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you finished the game very nicely. You retired 5 of the last 6 batters, and the other one only reached first base on a walk. So how do you think this victory will help you and the team as a whole kind of get some momentum as we head into the All-Star break?
I think it'll help us a lot, especially our bats. You know, our bats have kind of been lagging behind our pitching a little bit, but after this, I think it'll really help our offense a lot.
Yeah, your offense played very well too, but the pitching got you guys the win. So congratulations on the win. You're our Kelly Supply Company Player of the Game. Way to go out there, and good luck in your next game.
Thank you.
All right, that should be